What's up, my fam? My name's Kiahonfire, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about something really exciting that I saw a little while ago that is coming to Conan Exiles in 2020! So recently, Funcom, the publishers of Conan Exiles, released some really exciting news for their company. Tencent, a leading internet company with a strong online game operation, entered a share purchase agreement to acquire 29% of the shares in Funcom. Tencent has agreed to acquire all shares belonging to the Norway-based KGJ Capital AS, which is currently the largest shareholder in Funcom. Which basically means that they are the biggest shareholder in Funcom currently, which is absolutely great news for Funcom. Which basically means, if you're not very savvy in those terms, it's like investing, so putting money into something. So they're putting money into their business. And I hope that clears it up for you. But Kaya, what about the map? Well, we're just getting onto that part. Just had to get that out of the way first. So entailing all of this, the management board's recommendation to the Supervisory Board will be to increase the focus on the open world survival segment with games as a service business model. This recommendation is based on the fact that Conan Exiles continues to perform well, with December 2019 having been the third best month in terms of average number of players on PC since early access launch in January 2017. And with the company continuing to develop the game with a paid DLC map. That's the bit. That's the golden bit. And then it follows up with for release this year. So this paid map is presumably already in development. I hope so anyway, because something like that takes a lot of effort. And I'm so curious on what it's going to be. I already kind of have a small speculation on what it might be entailing. They actually follow a kind of pattern and they kind of relate back to it several times, especially when it comes to naming things. So I have a big feeling they're going to be bouncing back on a few of these things. I want to discuss them later in the video, see what you think, see what you think it might be, you know. I'm really intrigued on what it's going to be about. But basically, they're just giving more support into Conan Exiles, which is great if you want to simplify those kind of terms. Conan Exiles is doing well in their company, which is great news for people that like Conan Exiles like you and me. But we're definitely going to touch on that map in a minute, but just before that, they did say this map is a paid map. Now, if we look at some people in the past that have done maps and stuff like that, Ark would be a great one to relate to. Although Conan has said that they don't really want to become Ark in the way they do things, which is understandable, and you know, you can't have the games being too samey, that would just make it really boring. The player base isn't incredibly huge. You know, when they add a new map in, it does split up the player base quite a bit. But I am not too worried about that, because the thing is, when you have new maps added, it brings more traction to the game. So in brain sense, the more maps you add, the more interesting content to keep people going, the more players that is going to bring to the game, so I'm not overly worried about that split. Now, the thing I am worried about are the people that can't afford this kind of map. I'm worried what price tag they're going to stick on it. If it's a price tag that's similar to the price tag of the actual full game, I think that's going to be rather troublesome, depending on the size of the map. Any DLC should not equate to the price of the normal game. And this tangents onto my next kind of problem. How are they gonna correlate with this? How are they gonna move people from one map to the other? Is it gonna be a completely new split experience where everything is staying on this map? Or will they be able to transfer back and forth? Because I mean, if you have a paid map and they can transfer all this cool stuff back and forth, then you have the problem of people that has paid money has the advantage. And that is a serious issue. I mean, you get that in Ark a lot, and they don't really get away with it, but they do get away with it, but it really sucks for the people that can't afford the DLC, because they absolutely get screwed. A good example of this was when they brought dragons in, and dragons came in Scorched Earth DLC. So when you had normal people on the island and they brought these dragons over, everybody got absolutely screwed if they didn't have Scorched Earth DLC until they did some more trading, because these people would literally blow up your house with big fire dragons and lightning dragons, and they were so strong. It was not good when Scorched Earth came out with that a massive advantage for players. It was crazy, and I really hope they think about this one seriously if they're going to involve transfers. I think after they release this paid map DLC, what they really need to do is release a free map as well, as Ark has done with its maps. So, or at least allow players on the PC side to have the resources to make good modded maps, so they can help with development of Conan Exiles and stuff like that. Because you've seen in Ark, people have developed wonderful maps for Ark, and then they have taken the ownership and paid them a good amount of money, and then they have put this map on official, and it's lovely. Everybody loves it, Awesome. I think they need to have that kind of thing after this, so they take care of their community that has already paid a lot of money to support them with the first bit. I know developing isn't cheap or anything like that, but if you did it in a way that you let your community help you and modders, then that surely would be better developing it than developing it yourself. Then you can support the modder as well and stuff like that. So I severely hope when they release this paid map, they're not going to lock it behind a wall that modders can't get to. I hope modders can play around with this map. There are plenty of ways to still make money on this game, and you can have a free map now and again. Because if they're going down this map route, I imagine maybe they will provide more in the future, because people have that want for it. And knowing me, I'm probably going to end up getting this map when it comes out, because I want to show you guys what it's like, I want to give you that review and show you if it's worth you spending your money on it or not. So now I've had my little talk, rant, whatever, bleh. I want to go on to what I think this map might be about. So I've been reading a lot of lore recently. I love the Conan Exiles lore, it's so interesting. If you look at a lot of the DLCs in Conan, you're going to notice on the original stories from Robert E. Howard, he has all these stories about the map of Hyboria, because that's what it's based off of, the Age of Hyboria. And all these different places. It's kind of like his world map at the time that he made for the Conan Exiles universe. And you can see there's a lot of inspiration from names of stuff and stuff like that related in Conan DLCs to armor names, to things like that, is all derived from the story. So I was thinking with this map, if they were going to do something like you have to go off of it from your original character, I think the only way you could make this properly work within the lore how they have it was to be continuing to go off from where you take your bracelet off. Because it's pretty much a stub. When you take off your bracelet, you pass the wall and you're allowed out into this entire area you're seeing on the map right now. You can go to all these places now that you're out of where the exiled world is. So I was thinking, if they are going off this map, whereabouts would the Conan Exiles exiled land be on this map? So I looked into the lore. This is going off on a bit of a wing here, so please mind that. When you look into the lore of Rasma of Shen, she talks about Conan has offered to accompany me north back to my city of Shem, which means the Conan Exile area is in the south from Shem. So we have Shem here on the map. Let me just zoom in. There we go. Here's Shem. Shem is this whole region here, which, if we're going off the map on this, would mean the exiled world is somewhere in this lower segment here. It could be any of these areas if they're going off this kind of thing. Because I know in their last game, The Age of Conan Unchained, a lot of their gameplay actually went off this map. So I have a feeling they're probably going to derive. If they go down that route, they're probably going to derive off something like this. Now, we're getting technical. This is a bit of a far stretch. Please bear in mind. I'm theorizing with you here. But if they were to actually go off the lore, so Shem is in the north, Conan Exiles area would have to be somewhere in this area. And the thing is, you have the ocean to the right-hand side, and then you have land to the left when you look on the map. So it would mean the Conan Exiles universe would either have to be on the islands Or it would have to be on this coastline somewhere around about here. Any of these coastlines. So my thought was, if they're correlating to this map, it has to be in the Land of No Return, really. Because that's the only one that really makes much sense. It's either that or they're kind of connected to Zimbabwe. Or something like that. It's got to be around there. And of course it's not very clear because you don't have the snow or the volcano on this map. But I figures that's where it'd be. And if we're going to continue our version from escaping from that place, we're either going to end up with our new map being somewhere around any of these areas, or maybe just a bit out. I'm not sure what they would do biome wise, because the whole land of this area on this map in the lower regions is kind of like mostly jungle and stuff, so it'd have to probably start more in the jungle, the savannah. If they're going for that kind of thing, it would be more related in that way on a map. But I just guarantee you this map is going to be named after one of these names in one of these regions somewhere, or maybe a city name or something like that. And I really look forward to what it's going to bring. All I can do for now is theorize it might be somewhere that comes off of here. My other theory was that it would be a completely new, different experience, so you'll be not related to the old story at all. And it would be like a new, different story in a different time, in a very different place in time, maybe. So maybe a lot in the future with Conan, maybe he's moved on to a different place and we would be going to that place and focusing around that area. Maybe there is another green-walled area someplace else in this world. It wouldn't be far-fetched to say it's not existing. I mean, this world's full of crazy stuff, crazy lore, sorcery, that's mentioned a hell of a lot in the lore, actually, and you have the giant kings and stuff like that. So it wouldn't be far-fetched to say maybe there is another story and map place for us to discover all these kind of crazy things. And I just want to stress, this is not straight fact. This is me just looking into things and trying to predict where this kind of would be and what would make sense for them to make on what they've done in the past. So, like I'm going to reiterate, I keep rambling, I'm sorry, but they go over all this stuff in Age of Conan, the Unchained. You just look into the old stuff in AOC and you can see they have maps of the area. You have Aquilonia going into different Orphea, Kos, Argos. All correlates to the map incredibly. Maybe they'll kind of pick off ideas of the old game that they still work on a little bit. Maybe they'll develop off that way. They could take an old area from one of their old maps and develop on that and make it into new. They've done it a lot with armors and stuff like that. The Assassin's Armor, a good representation from the Arena DLC, was actually a remodel from their old game into their new game. So I think you can kind of expect something that's just like different lore, different scenery, different story, but still relates back to the stories of Robert E. Howard. I think that's what you kind of can expect. And that could be a lot of things. I mean, they have a lot of resource to work with. He made so many books on Conan. So many. And it has a lot of story of going to all these different places. It's wonderful. I do recommend you read it at some point. Or maybe listen to an audiobook. It's extremely interesting and you see these places brought up. It's like, oh wow, they did some stuff on this, you know. I see where they got their inspiration from, you know. Maybe I'll have a look into reading some more lore in the future for you guys if that's what you'd be into. But I think that's what you can probably expect for a new map. Expect something similar, but maybe with different areas, different story, different things to look forward to. Then you can get your teeth sunk into different areas, different little cracks you can hide your base in, you know. Another thing they could bring in with a new map is they could bring in things like more mats. They've already discussed in streams that they have an interest of adding more mats to the game, but they don't know if it's possible from the higher ups. So they want to, but they kind of can't. Or I don't know if that's a way of phrasing that it's in plans, but they're not going to tell you, kind of thing. But before mounts actually came out, elephants were under the mounts category in the dev kit. So it kind of makes me think, elephant mounts. Even in the old game, they had what was it, like siege rhinos or elephants? that have these awesome headpieces and you can see them charging and it's really awesome. I don't know, they could add to that would really work out. And I know they've spoken about camels in the past. I don't think that would be too difficult to implement, having a camel to ride. So I think you can definitely expect maybe another mount this year. Maybe later in the year though. I don't know. They could surprise us. They're quite sneaky. They are quite sneaky. But it's something they discussed and they said they are interested in. More paid DLCs with cosmetics in them. I think you can expect more kind of things like that throughout the year as well. Maybe a season 3 pass. I would probably expect that kind of thing coming. I just hope it's not too samey this year, because we've already had kind of 2 years of the kind of quite similar stuff. Although I really like the kind of route they're taking with the more seasonal 2 stuff. Especially with the Turan DLC, how they had a little bit of everything. I really appreciated that one. I thought it was awesome. I know a lot of people don't like the new horsey one, but I thought that was really good because it gives you a lot of different variety. So you have like a lot of different things. You have decoration, you have weapons, you have armor, you have a new weapon type, you have horse saddles, you know, you have all these different things you can play with in this one. It gives you a good amount of variety. I hope to see more things like that, and I know not a lot of people like this one, but the Botcherous Decado, I really like that DLC because it was really different in comparison to everything else they released. You had all these different things, you had bridges, you had tree platforms, you had so much decoration and so much clothing pieces you could put onto your Conan Exiles person. I thought it was great. They're giving a little bit of love to their RPers. I thought that was amazing. I'm not an RPer myself, but even I appreciated this DLC, you know. Maybe some more individual packs would be cool. Hair pack, please. I want hair. I think a lot of people really want different hair. We need more choices, goddammit. Yeah, but you don't even have a proper ponytail. That's easy. You could just go off of one of your other models and stick more longer hair on the back, and I think a lot of people would be happy with that. You could even go with braids. There you go, braids. That's another one. You could have the little pop noodle hairstyle. That looks cool. Go with that too. You could even have a mohawk. There you go. There's some ideas. That would be quite funny. I'm sure people would appreciate some more different hairstyles. You could make a little bit of money off of that to help support with future projects. Of course, companies need money to make things and make things happen, you know. At the end of last year, with the way they were kind of hinting with things, I think they might do some more things that will cover into the PvP side. They did a lot of changes to trebuchets. They did a lot of changes to the thrall system. I would love them to work a little bit harder on the thrall system, make the perks a little bit more worth it, and make things a little bit more transparent on that side, because you have a lot of hidden stats, which I think should not be a thing at all. I think it should be more clearer than it is. I'm quite strongly opinionated on that one. I'm not going to go too far into that. But I think definitely 2020, rule changes worked on, definitely something important that they could do that I think might be a thing, especially after all the feedback that they've got from their new thrall system. Don't take this entire video as fact. I don't want you to go and go, where is my sorcery? To kind of Twitter on Conan, don't do that. You know, just have things to look forward to. These are some of the things that I think, personally, from what I have seen from their releases and their talks on their live streams, might be coming to our doorstep. It's just my personal insight. So take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, new map, 2020, awesome. And let me know what you think about this video. This is something a little bit more different. I don't usually do these, but I've been thinking maybe to do a little bit more of these, since I don't really get to talk a lot about this kind of thing with you, and I usually just do a mess of things on my channel. Because I like doing lots of different things. It's just, I gotta sort it out. But anyway, if you like this video, make sure to subscribe and, you know, hit a like or give a comment. It really helps on my tiny weeny little channel. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!